can you still be spiritual without believing in God? My non-denominational Baptist roots taught me without Him, you literally have nothing. Like literally, you have nothing. That anything that doesn't have God in it is empty, is sinful, and is filled with sex, drugs, and moral collapse. Outside of that container, anything spiritual was probably demonic. And that is the belief that keeps people trapped. What if we reframed the thinking that you need God or a God to be spiritual? Humans have been kind of gravitating towards this kind of stuff literally since the beginning of time. Rituals, symbols, meaning-making practices. Religion kind of swooped in and claimed spirituality as we invented this, but really they're kind of two separate things. So many religions, including Christianity, I'm mostly bringing up Christianity because that's the one I was raised in, does this picking and choosing thing about what spiritual tools and practices that are fine. I know you have the one Bible, not including all the books that have been left out. And then you have all these different denominations being like, our version of God is the right one, come to our church. Your version of God is wrong. That's why you never believed. That's why you fell away. You were in the wrong denomination. I got so much shit for wanting to pick and choose my own spiritual practices when I left the church. But really, that's what every denomination is already doing. So it's easy to get caught in this confusion loop of the God of the Bible is the only God. Your only access point to spirituality is through Jesus or through your priest or only through prayer, only through sacrament, only through, whatever denomination you were brought up in. What if I told you that you don't need to pick the right God, or you don't need to pick any God at all to experience spirituality, to experience awe, joy, wonder, peace, connection, everything that is what makes spirituality what it is. Spirituality is the essence of connection, internally and externally. But being spiritual without believing in God or a specific boxed version of God actually means that you get access to even more tools than you thought you had access to before. There is no youth group leader or church higher up being like, that's not what our church believes. You can't do yoga. Juice fasting. You can do regular fasting, but not juice fasting. You're not outsourcing or seeing what healing modality is allowed on your church website anymore. You get to choose for yourself. It's taking back spiritual autonomy. Maybe talk therapy wasn't working for you, but maybe EMDR or EFT-tapping is totally changing your life. Maybe your ADHD brain made memorizing Bible verses feel literally impossible, but pulling a tarot card at the end of the day to reflect on what you can learn from it is totally helping you. Maybe you're finding new self-help books that gave your life more meaning than any pastor's sermon ever did. Different nervous systems need different tools. Not all nervous systems are built the same. Maybe those old worship songs where you sing about how sinful and broken you are not landing. It's not giving you that buzzy feeling that you once got. I used to lead worship and I loved that feeling. Oh my God. But now maybe it comes from sound baths. Maybe it comes from going to your favorite band's concert where you still get that feeling. Just because we've left the church doesn't mean that we have to abandon our love for spirituality. And for some of us, it feels way better to not be spiritual at all. And I totally get that. And I have been there in different months and days of my life. High control religion doesn't just tell you what to believe, it tells you how you're allowed to heal. And it limits it. And then once you leave, you realize how many things were off limits. I think spirituality without God for me is spacious. It's freeing. You are allowed to keep what works and then leave what doesn't work for somebody else. After I literally stopped going to church and then denounced my faith in Jesus, which was so traumatizing, I kind of teeter between being agnostic and being atheist, depending on the day and the hour. But I love researching, studying, practicing so many different spiritual tools and healing modalities. Yoga, different forms of music, meditation, breath work, EFT-tapping, EMDR, psychotherapy, juice cleansing, water fasting. I wrote a whole book and put it on Amazon a few years ago about all my research and experiences fasting. So if you're interested, go check it out. Links in the description. Anything whimsical and fairy-like, honestly. How the planets affect me, how the moon coincides with my cycle. Anything metaphysical, astrocartography, silent retreats, of course, tarot and oracle readings. I've been doing those for years since I left the church. That's actually kind of what grounded me back into my spiritual practice and showed me that non-Christian practices are not demonic. These are things that I get to pick and choose. Some of them I do every day. Some of them I do once a month. Some once a year. Some I totally forget existed and then I remember and I'm like, oh my god, I haven't done that in like 3 years. They add to my life, they bring me joy, they make me happy. And if spirituality means connection, means a feeling of oneness, presence, and meaning, like, you are allowed to choose that for yourself, I think. But hey, what do I know? I'm just your fellow deconstructor who is literally always just day by day trying to figure shit out. Let me know in the comments what spiritual tools you like to use. And if you haven't subscribed already, hit that subscribe button. If you have already subscribed, thank you so much. I appreciate you more than you will ever know. And I'll talk to you in the comments. All right, bye.
Not sure what I believe, and that's okay with me. Never knew my thoughts would change, but when I mess up, I take the blame.